Thank you. I would like to call the May 20th, 2025 meeting of the North Smithfield School Committee to order at 6:31 p.m. Roll call, please.
Chair Bartamoli called in. She will not be present tonight. Mrs. Mayo,
Here.
Mr. Connell,
Here.
Mr. De La Cruz,
Here.
Mr. Simpkins.
Here.
Thank you. We have a quorum. So I think we will move right on to the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I would like to introduce a very special guest of honor tonight, our 25-26 Teacher of the Year, Valerie Carnevale, who teaches at the middle school. And
Hey. One.
yes.
Okay.
Okay, good. Here she comes. Ms. Lopes will be speaking.
I think Ms. Lopes will want to say a few words. So Val, you can just stand back and be praised for a few moments.
She sure deserves it. Good evening, everyone. Let me start over. We're here tonight to celebrate an extraordinary individual, a true champion of education and our district teacher of the year. Valerie and I started across next door when it was a senior high school, and we made it over this way when this building opened in 2008. It's great pleasure and pride that I stand here before you with her to recognize Val. She's a history teacher whose passion, dedication, and unwavering commitment to her students have earned her this well-deserved honor. Val's classroom, and as you can see today, Mr. St. Jean was in it, is more than just a place of learning. It's a vibrant hub of exploration and discovery. She possesses a remarkable ability to bring history to life, transforming past information into captivating narratives that ignite curiosity and inspire lifelong love of learning. She doesn't just teach dates and facts. She doesn't stand up in the front of the room and just spout off information. She teaches stories, the forces that shaped our world, and the lessons that echo through time. She encourages her students to think critically, to question assumptions, and to engage with history in a way that's both meaningful and relevant to their own lives. Today, Mr. St. Jean and I were in our whole school, and their parents were all invited in for a World War II artifact, and she brought in the North Smithfield National Heritage and Woonsocket. She brought in, I think it was the Veteran Memorial Museum. She had reenactors there, and it was just one snapshot of the many things she does like that to bring history to life for kids, and it was so impressive. She has guest speakers in. She's had Boston Tea parties. She brought Civil War artifacts in. Today she was dressed as Rosie the Riveter in full garb, and she looked awesome. She's done feudal system artifacts. She's had the kids sign the Declaration of Independence event, coordinated grade 8 tour of Slatersville with National Park Service. I could go on and on. I mean, when I asked her to just type up some of her accomplishments, she's quite the slacker. So she really does embody the qualities of an exceptional educator. She is passionate. Her enthusiasm for history is infectious. It's inspiring for our students to delve deeper and to discover the past relevance. She's innovative. She employs creative teaching methods, incorporates diverse resources and technologies to make history engaging and accessible. And outside of the classroom, it doesn't stop there. I mean, what she puts inside the classroom, she does the same outside the classroom. She's a role model for all of us. She collaborates with colleagues. She contributes to the school community. She demonstrates profound commitment to the success of our students. Just for some examples, she's a team leader, she's a mentor, she's a club advisor, technology trainer, she was a We the People judge, SIT team member, and it's just a few examples. She's been a participant in a plethora of professional development seminars. She's won previous awards. She won the James Madison Memorial Fellowship, Rhode Island recipient in 2007. She was Rhode Island History Teacher of the Year in 2014. And she was also an adjunct professor at Roger Williams University, 2014 to 2023. And I wrap it up by saying that She was also, and this was very impressive, she brought the book in. She's a contributive author to the book Revolutionary Ideals, and that was published in 2023. Tonight, we celebrate Val's remarkable achievements and express our deepest gratitude for her outstanding contributions. She represents the very best of our district, and we are incredibly fortunate to have her as part of our educational family. I want to have everyone extend our warmest congratulations to Val, because we're very lucky to have her as a mentor, as a teacher, and we all call her as a friend too. She's a great mom. She exudes, she comes in smiling every day, and we're just so proud of her, and we're proud of this celebration. So please join me in extending and congratulating Val Carnival.
Thank you very much. I am incredibly honored, and I am so proud of everything we've accomplished in this district and our students. I love bringing in all of the artifacts and primary sources and all of the great things that we can do to open up history for our students. So thank you very much, and I'm so proud to be able to represent North Smithfield.
I would just like to say that I was honored to be in your class today too, and everything that you said about yourself and everything that Ms. Loeb said about you is so very, very true. It's exciting to watch the learning that goes on in those classes. So I thank you very much. And the school system has a special award for you. Thank you so much. Very, very nice. Very well deserved.
Can I say something?
Yes, please.
Okay, Madam Chair, if I can speak just very briefly on that, I'm very excited to see Ms. Carnavale getting that award. I also sat in one of her classes at the behest of Ms. Donald, bringing us around to the schools, the tour 2 years ago, and it was a great experience. So I'm just very happy to, again, I've seen her teaching, and I think she's very well deserving of the award. And I'm very excited to see her get it, though I am a little disappointed that she changed out of the Rose of the Riveter outfit. Other than that, I'm very happy to see this.
Take a look at today's Facebook post because it was captured there, so.
Expected to be here.
I just want to add, both of my boys have had this Carnivale in the last few years, and it's really been an exceptional experience for them. You know, they're good teachers and they're okay teachers, and you're one of the exceptional ones. They came home excited about what they were learning, and you really made a difference in their educational journey. So thank you.
Mrs. Carnavale, I used to be a history teacher myself, and to hear that you dressed up as Rosie the Riveter is exciting. I had a poster of Rosie the Riveter in my classroom, among many others, but thank you so much for all that you do for our students. I never dressed up as Rosie the Riveter.
Next meeting, we expect.
So moving on, we have another special guest, Senior Frances Tyner, who is going to tell us about her senior project.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
I just want to start off by also congratulating Mrs. Carnavale because I also had her as my history teacher when I was in middle school, and she was fantastic. I was never really like a history or English person, but when I had her in history class, it really taught me how fun history really could be, and I just want to thank you for that. Thank you so much. Thank you so. Okay, so I'm just gonna repeat. Hi, my name is Frances Tyner. I am a senior at North Smithfield High School, and you may know me from all the sports I play because I've been in numerous sports throughout my high school career. I am here today to propose creating a swim team at North Smithfield High School. And I will spend a couple minutes on like these upcoming slides, but I will spend most of my time here talking about the financial and funding aspect because I know that is one of the most important things that goes into all these swim teams that happen, how it makes them possible. So I just want to start off by saying and asking, was anybody a swimmer growing up? Did anybody participate in a swimming or have fun swimming in the ocean or anything? Yeah. Swimming is a really, really difficult sport. The warm-up we do alone for swim practice would be about 4 200s, and 200 being as 200 meters. And a 200 is about 8 laps in a pool. And so warming up, just as our warm-up before we do our full set of exercise, it was a lot. And if you asked any other athlete that did their sport on land to do that, they'd probably sink. They'd probably sink to the bottom of the pool and they'd be like, I give up. I can't do this. And one thing that swim has taught me from that is how to be disciplined and how to be just like an amazing athlete in general, because it just gave me confidence overall as a person. And I swam for 8 years in the Woonsocket YMCA with Sean Mania, Lauren Mania, Amelia Boys, Sam Dalty, and my sister and my brother, and a lot of other people that have also gone through the North Smithfield system, and we have all enjoyed it. And one thing that goes into swimming is the PRs that you get from it. And the PRs, I know everybody knows what a PR is, right? Personal best. Like you're like, yippee, I just beat my time by like 0.2 seconds. Woo! And not a lot of people know the hard work that actually goes in to getting those PRs. You have to practice 5 days a week for about almost like 2 hours each time. And that just takes a lot of hard work and dedication. That's something that swim does teach you, the hard work and dedication that it is to just be someone, and it just really translate also into like real world scenarios, having the dedication to go to practice every single day after having a full school day and also being tired and being able to put in that hard work and get those PRs and do those swim meets that take like 8 hours on the weekend and take up your entire Saturday morning, Saturday nights. Like it takes a lot of hard work, and it shaped me into like the person I am today, and it really helped me be part of like the 4.0 club at my high school, being like top 20 in my high school. It really like helped me and showed me the dedication it took to get good grades in high school and to like be proud of like what I've done and what I've accomplished. And so I'm gonna discuss what we have now for swim. We have an individual swim team, which is just allows only 3 girls and 3 boys to actually participate. And there's a lot more people in our high school and 8th graders in our middle school that actually would like to participate in a swim team. And when I got to the high school, I thought we had a swim team. And so I was like, oh my God, I get to join the swim team at high school. And I didn't. I didn't get to. I didn't get to because their 3 spots for the girls had already been taken up. And so I did soccer and I enjoyed that a lot. It was very, very fun. Um, and I know a lot of people in the high school now and past tense and future tense that would like to join the swim team. There's a lot more than 6 people who would love to join a swim team and go to practice every day and see their friends and just do a hard workout that makes them feel good afterwards. And so this is one of the reasons why I really want to propose this, because I know our high school is ready to have a swim team. For the past almost a decade, we've had numerous kids that have wanted to participate in a swim team and that have wanted to and couldn't because we didn't actually have a swim team to do. And so I just want to discuss how I got here in the present tense. I put a lot of work in. I met with the Lincoln AD. I met with Matthew Tech, who is my mentor for my senior project, numerous times to get all the numbers in and get all the facts straight before I could build this presentation and come to you guys with my proposal. And from all of my research that I've done, I've come to the conclusion that the best option for our school is to co-op with like a D3 team that practices at a Y or has their own pool even. That would even be even better in the financial aspect and funding aspect. The 3 schools that you can see up on the board are Smithfield, which also practices at the Smithfield YMCA, the Pawtucket School, also practice at their own YMCA, and Burrillville also practices at the Smithfield YMCA. There's numerous spots you can practice. You can rent out a pool, and those are just some of the high schools that we could co-op with if we were to create a swim team. And that would also cut the money required to have a swim team in half. And I took a survey to see just the numbers of people that would be interested in having a swim team at the high school. And I had 116 responses alone from my survey from the 8th graders and from grades 9 to 12. And there was a lot of yeses. And I know maybe like 25 yeses or 30 yeses might not seem like a lot, but 30 kids on a team alone, you can see the benches lined up and see how many people would be participating. That's a lot of people, even if you think it's only a small number. And so now moving on to the actual cost breakdown and what this theoretically would cost. So I broke down and used the yeses that I got from my survey. So these numbers would not be quite as big. If there were a swim team to happen, if we were co-oping with somebody, these numbers would be cut in half and be very easy to manage. This is just the cost of swimsuits, swim caps, just things that you would need to have a swim team. And then this next slide is like the pool rental cost. And I got this number from the Lincoln AD, which is a huge school, and they'd probably use up the pool time a lot more than a D3 or like a smaller team would. And they actually rent out the McCall YMCA, which is one of the most expensive YMCAs in Rhode Island to actually rent out for a pool time. So that's one of the higher numbers. So you guys can see like that's probably the highest number you would ever do, but most likely you would not have that number. And there was just other fees like the coach's stipend, the interscholastic fees, and the transportation. And if we were to co-op, we'd probably have people drive to it, which would help cut down the cost, because bus costs is, if you only have like 10 people on the bus, 15-mile bus, that why would you use a bus? And an example of people actually doing this is the hockey team. The hockey team co-ops with our own hockey team co-ops with Burrillville and numerous other schools, and they actually drive themselves every day to practice, and they're okay with it because they're dedicated to the sport and they have that discipline to do that. So the first option, which I do not recommend, which would be like the worst possible option to do, which was the least likely option to actually happen, is the no co-op and doing an off-campus pool. And for the only having like about 10 members, 15 members, this option probably wouldn't happen. The options I want to talk about right now are the cost of a co-op with an off-campus pool, which just means you're renting at a YMCA. So the materials are just like swimsuits, caps, which are like a one-time purchase, and that swimmer can use it for all 4 years at the high school, or they can purchase another swimsuit on their own, because usually swimmers, we have our own preferences of what swimsuits we like to use, and we can always agree as a team to buy our own swimsuits, or obviously buy a team suit with like a logo on it if we so prefer. And then that's just the payment of the coaches, the fees like the stipend and stuff like that, and it's the total from that. And then the rental is the pool rental. As you saw on the slide before, it was $15,000. But however, if we are co-oping with somebody, all the costs are cut in half. So that total on the top as well from materials, coaches, and fees could also be cut in half from that. And so the total would be around $11,000. And so the next option, which is the best option, the option we want, and that is very, very possible and feasible, is the cost of a co-op with somebody who has an on-campus pool. So the materials, the coaches, and the fees would be around the same. However, we would not have to pay for a pool rental, which is one of the biggest costs when you're doing like a swim team or any team, like rental of field time. We obviously have our own field up at the track. So the football team, soccer team, any of the teams that are basically on land don't need to rent out one because we have our own. But we did pay for that field, and it was a lot of money to pay for that redone. It was newly redone. It's a lot of money to actually pay for that new field and that new track as well. So keep that in mind. And yeah, that's about it. Thank you. If you guys have any questions, I can go back to any slides and explain anything you want me to explain.
I do have one question.
Yes.
You had talked about communities with or schools with on-campus pools.
Mm-hmm.
Who in the area has an on-campus pool?
So there's not many Rhode Island schools that are, so most D1 schools have
Mhm.
their own pools. Like I'm pretty sure Smithfield doesn't have their own pool, but God, I'm trying to remember. Most D1 schools would, but however, the D3 teams that we'd want to co-op with most likely won't have their own pool.
Mhm.
And if we do, we'd have to search for teams. But the three schools that I put up there, Smithfield, Burrillville, Pawtucket, are the teams that are most likely to co-op with us,
Mhm.
and that's like the most likely option. So the second option I put in the slides are like the most likely option. But if I can do a lot more digging to find what other D3 teams that might have an on-campus pool, but it's least likely because when you first make a team, you have to go into like the lowest level of the intramural, so D3, and most teams, and which is unfortunate, D3 teams don't have their own pools, which is unfortunate.
Thank you.
No problem.
I had a question.
Yes.
Do we know if it would have, if this would affect our insurance as a school? I know. Just feels like it's an activity that might not necessarily be included under our,
Yeah, I can see what you're saying. I would ask them directly.
right?
They mostly it's like if we were to install a pool, it would
Yeah.
directly affect us. But I could ask
So the ideal scenario is we co-op with the school that has the pool, right?
Yes.
There's no rental. The more realistic scenario
Is the
that
one
we
co-op
co-op
option?
with,
Yes.
school, we split the rental fees, right?
Yes.
Have you reached out to any schools that we might be interested in co-opting with and see if there's mutual interest in that yet? Or is it
No.
still sort of exploratory?
No, I'm still exploring it because I obviously wanted to propose the idea to you guys before I put it out there to other schools and had them emailing me, and I didn't have any information about if I could actually do that. But I know Burrillville would definitely be interested because they have a smaller team and they've been renting the Smithfield Y along with Smithfield. So there's different teams that have different numbers. I know Smithfield and Burrillville would definitely be interested in doing a co-op. I would just have to email the athletic director and get that ball rolling.
And how many students are, or not students, how many schools are participating at the D3 level right now?
About 10 schools are participating in the D3 level. Yeah, D3, D2, and D1, yes. About 10.
I just have one question. As you were talking, CCRI Lincoln still has a pool, right?
Yes.
Is that available for rent?
I was trying to locate on their website, yes,
Mm.
if it's available to rent, and I want to look for that into that more, and I think that could be a very feasible possibility of actually using CCRI's pool and seeing if they would allow us to do that. Because it's still open, it's still usable, but I don't know if they allow people to rent for it still. I'd have to contact them.
One final question. I'm not sure if you addressed this, but
Mhm.
did you run this by our current athletic director, Mr. McNulty, and discuss it with him or get any?
No, I was planning on discussing it after I discussed it with you guys
Okay.
because I wanted to make sure like it would actually be possible for because he has a lot on his plate
Sure.
because he's newer and like this is his first year having like the full reins of every single sport from fall to spring. And so I know he has a lot on his plate. So I wanted to make sure you guys would be okay with this before I even like propose it to him because you guys have the funding for it and he'd have to organize everything for sure. I'd also definitely want to run it by him, but I was gonna run it by him this week actually after I ran it by you guys.
I'm actually meeting with him tomorrow to discuss some other co-ops.
Mhm.
But I'm gonna let you do all the heavy lifting.
Okay,
There'll be no spoilers, but
Okay.
you know, I'll let him know that, you know, this discussion's coming up,
yes,
okay?
thank you so much.
Obviously, we can't vote on anything.
No,
Regarding-
this is informational right now.
Yes.
Exactly. So, what is the next step for us?
Well, we're gonna have the discussion and it will, I'm pretty sure we have the interest in the students. It really then becomes a financial.
Right.
Yes.
And it's a matter of, and as she said, she's very right. The more schools that co-op, the reduction in the rates.
Mhm.
And so, you know, it's a distinct possibility. renting the pool is like renting the ice. And
Yes,
it
exactly.
and it makes that sport one of the most expensive per student.
Mhm.
You know, that we do have to consider, but we also don't want to deny anyone any great opportunities.
Mhm.
So we'll kick that around and see where it goes. But I think it was a fantastic presentation. It
Thank
was
you.
eye-opening. One more question.
Okay.
Interscholastically, do they have any fixed numbers on what makes a team? What are the magic numbers?
So you have to have at least, I believe, 10 people on the
Okay.
team to actually make a team. It's 6 to 10 people, I believe.
Okay,
And if we co-op, those numbers will obviously be
right.
easy to accomplish. And I know a handful of people, about like 5 or 10 people that would be interested in actually joining the team that aren't already seniors this year.
Okay, very
Yes.
good. Thank you.
Are any of them as passionate as you about this?
Yes.
You're not gonna be here next
Oh,
year.
I know, but I can recruit, and I know a lot of people that I'd also know a couple people that'd be interested in help coaching, and that would help around, and I could also help coaching. And
Well, I was going to say,
yeah, I was
yeah,
I was gonna say I could also be an assistant coach for North Smithfield on the coming year to help lessen the cost and help get the ball rolling.
you're not going to lessen the cost. You get
I
paid
know,
as
but
an
I
assistant
know, but
coach.
it'll help.
All right, okay.
Yes. Thank you.
Very nice.
Great.
If I could take just one moment to replace this cable because of the popping.
Francis, I would just like to say congratulations to you and good luck. That was an excellent, excellent presentation.
Okay.
All set?
Yep. Oh, okay. It wasn't the cable. I'll deal with it next time.
Very good. And next on our agenda, we have more special guests. Next on the agenda is recognition and appreciation of the PTO for their hard work and dedication to make things so special for our students.
So we are here tonight to take a moment to shine a spotlight on a very special group of individuals whose work is often behind the scenes, but whose impact is felt through every hallway, classroom, and smile at North Smithfield Elementary School. And those are our incredible PTO ladies, affectionately called our PTO. The PTO is the heartbeat of our school community. They are the friendly faces behind our family events, the creative minds behind our fundraisers, and the generous hands that help us bridge the gap between what we have and what we hope to provide for our students.
So thanks to the PTO efforts, our school has been able to enrich student learning. They always go the extra mile, not for recognition, but out of a deep belief in our children and all their potential. So we've had PTOs the entire time that both Tracy and I have been in the district, and they've all been phenomenal. What typically happens is we get a group of moms, they're really strong, and they tend to kind of join toward the tail end of their children's elementary years. This PTO is different. We have a lot of moms from preschool, kindergarten, so they'll be with us for a while. At least we hope. I don't know, maybe after today, not. So what Tracy and I did, and Dina, is we just assembled a list of what these women have done for us over the past year. So over the past year, 2 of the women have been mentors for senior projects. Gabby Stell ran our talent show for the 2nd year in a row. Lindsay Kumar helped one of the seniors do a grade 4 movie night, and she sold something called Smensels at our school, which if you come to the elementary, we'll introduce you to them. As a result of both of those fundraising efforts, the seniors donated close to $1,200 for our end of the year celebration with our fourth grade students. As a result, we're going to be able to have a really special after hours party, which is something that we've held over the past few years. In addition, the PTO donates an annual scholarship of $500 to a senior at the high school. In terms of school-wide events, every single month, if not multiple times a month, they've offered the following. At the beginning of the year, they purchase supplies for every single student at NSCS. Every single supply is funded by the PTO. They collect donations at back to school nights for things like hand sanitizer, Clorox wipes, tissues, which may sound trite, but when you're in an elementary school, they go by very quickly. They've organized our second annual fun run, our trunk or treat in October. In December, they hold the winter literacy night, and they also do the Natalie's Elf Shop, which is like the holiday shop where kids can go and purchase items for their families. They organized a donation of stuffed animals for our schools. So every year for the past 3 years, our kids have been able to adopt a reading buddy. So it's now our kindergartners, just as our kindergartners are getting ready to be able to read. They get to adopt a stuffed animal that they can read to at home. They helped to organize Jerry Pilata, who's an author who wrote the Who Would Win series. They worked with Kristen Barabee to organize his visit to our school this year. They've done our someone special dance this year, particularly offering a sensory hour for our students who have sensory needs. They've helped to run our faculty face-off, which, sorry, Ms. Lopes, but we've won the past 2 years in a row. They've helped to organize a Teacher Appreciation Week, not only at NSCS, but also at the middle school. They organize our volunteers and activities for our field day. They help to organize our second ever school mascot, which is Northy, which you'll see very soon. They've made homemade kettle corn, homemade designer cookies for us. They treat us, and they have taken so much off of our plates as administrators to help our faculty. It's been a tremendous relief. So we wanted to just do a little something to say thank you to them.
I just want to also mention Jess Nielsen organized our very first NSES annual yearbook. She took all the photos. We take photos all week, every week, and she sorted through thousands of photos and assembled them and labeled them. And our students are going to get a yearbook this year. So obviously, we're surprised they're still standing, right? They don't look very tired. But what makes them so special is not just what they do, but how they do it. And that's with warmth, collaboration, and unwavering commitment to make North Smithfield Elementary School a place where every child and staff member and administrator feels valued and supported. So to our dedicated PTO, your time, energy, and care do not go unnoticed. And on behalf of the entire school community, thank you for being an essential part of what makes North Smithfield Elementary School not just a school, but a family.
So we would just like to invite them up. We just have a small certificate for them. This is Northy right there. So it was Northy was drawn by one of our fourth graders. And Northy will appear on all of our correspondence for the next 8 years until she graduates from high school, and then we'll get a new school mascot. That's how we tend to run it. So first up, we have Karen Cornell. Our kettle corn maker, Jess Gennaro. Our yearbook creator, Jessica Nielsen. And our president of the PTO, Erin Paley. Thank you so much for letting us recognize them. We wanted to do it in a public way just to, say our appreciation for everything you do for us. So.
Very.
Way to go, Sue.
Strength after all. I'm exhausted.
Gonna try. So first of all, thank you. This is definitely an unexpected but appreciated recognition. We're lucky to have a great group of ladies on the PTO who work incredibly hard and work together with the same purpose. We don't do any of the things we do for recognition, but the teachers do always make us feel appreciated. We are blessed to have an amazing school community with exceptional teachers, administration, and families that make it easy to stay motivated. So I just want to say thank you for acknowledging our efforts, and we're looking forward to the next year and are already brainstorming ideas or to do more things, and possibly we're trying to include the high school next year too for Teacher Appreciation Week.
Did you build a swimming pool?
Swimming
pool? Yeah.
I mean, yeah, goals. So yes, thank you for everything.
Thank you all so very, very much. You go above and beyond, and our students are the beneficiaries. Thank you. Is anyone here to speak on public comment or community comments? I should probably check. If you are, just raise your hand, but I don't think so.
Nobody had signed up.
Nobody?
Online?
Okay. No, and no one online?
Nope.
Okay. Excellent. Oh, so we're moving right along to the consent agenda. Does anyone want any item removed?
I don't.
No? Okay. Then I'm looking for a motion to accept the consent agenda as written.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The motion passes.
And just thank you for all the donation of the lemonade truck. That's
Oh,
Yeah, I know.
that was fun.
That's fun.
That was
Yes.
fun.
Yes.
Definitely. Very, very nice. So moving right along to the superintendent's report.
I just want to thank you on the consent agenda to agreeing to replace the 36-year-old booster pump over at NSES. It's been, as you know, the past couple of years have been quite the water journey we've been on, and that booster pump is going to help. The manganese I put out to the community, the abatement that we put in place brought the levels below the cap in a nice, safe, comfortable amount. We had been in discussion as far as PFAS levels at the high school, middle school with the town for a much larger project, which it would have been nice had it if we had the time. And it was going to be an upgrade to the town water system where we would connect into that instead of running a separate filtration system. Ideally, long-term, the best solution, but also we're talking long-term. There's a lot of uncertainty with funding right now. And the price just kept creeping up as the further we looked into it. So we've put in for a summer pilot program, part of the emerging contaminant grant, and we're funded for it at this point. It should take place over the summer. They're going to do a lot of collection, a lot of data, a lot of testing, And then that will go into the longer permanent replacement and filtration of the water system at the middle school, high school. But right now, in the meantime, it is well below the standard. So what we have done with the mixing of the two wells has, brought it well below the 20 parts per trillion. However, I'm tired of talking about water and facilities. No offense to Alan, he's not here. We have the spring concert tomorrow and Wednesday. Just looking forward to that. I will be taking pictures, so those will be showing up on Facebook shortly thereafter. And then Thursday, I hope people are going to be around for the senior projects, because those are the most glorious, inspirational presentations and parts of the year. And again, I'm going to be taking pictures because Lindsay, Mrs. Araman, has usually locked me in a room, not locked, willingly in a room to be a judge or representative to see the senior projects. And I absolutely love to see them in their entirety, except she's given me permission this year to go into room by room by room and take pictures of students as they're doing their presentation. And you know it's a big deal, because once a presentation starts, a door cannot open. All right. Not that I'm pulling rank. I got permission. That was the main thing. I got permission to. So I'm looking forward to, showing and celebrating our students doing amazing things.
Well, certainly if the day is anything like what we've seen from Francis, it will be a fabulous, fabulous day.
Absolutely.
That's great. That's great. Thank you. Anything else? Any questions? Okay. The informational section.
I want to wish Megan the best of luck. She has a great new career opportunity to explore, and she felt bad about leaving. She was well loved, but there's cool things happening for her. And I want to thank Michelle, welcome Michelle. She came in she's coming into the middle school as a new special education teacher. And her interview she just knocked it out of the park. Everyone's so excited to have her on board. She's going to be a tremendous asset to the school and the community.
Thank you. Under old business, fiscal year 25 operating capital budget. Any updates?
Sorry. So most generally, at the end of June, that very last week, I asked for a meeting. So here I am begging you for a meeting the last week of June where we can do recalls, hopefully adopt the budget. We can make most of our final payments. It can be very, very quick. We usually do it like right after school, like 3 o'clock, whatever works for you guys. So you don't have to do it right now, but if Fatima could poll you for that last week, that would be fantastic. Okay. Thank you.
That sounds like a good plan, because Terry is not here anyway. But do we have any idea when the town council will establish our part of their budget?
I do not. As soon as I have the date, I will let you know.
Okay.
Okay.
Because our meeting should really.
It should be
cover
like
that.
the second or third day after, in case they go over the first night.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. So fiscal year 26 operating capital budget.
So we did receive our updated state aid. As you know, that is what is sticking right this moment. As things unravel in June and we have more numbers, we will just hopefully, like I said, by that last week in June, we will know exactly what our budget number is and we can adopt it. Okay.
Thank you very much. So
Welcome.
there's nothing we have to vote on tonight,
No.
as far as that's concerned. Okay. Moving on to new business, negotiations with the support staff contract. And before we vote, does anyone who was a part of that negotiation have anything to say?
I'll just comment briefly. I know Terry's not here to to share her thoughts. But it was the first time negotiating for myself and being a part of that. Wasn't sure what to expect, but I I really appreciated the level of professionalism that everyone brought to the table. It was certainly a learning experience for me, but going into it, I knew that we needed to recognize the hard work and the dedication that support staff and all that they do for the school and what they bring every single day throughout the year, many of them, but also recognizing that we have to balance the and respect the taxpayers. And I feel like, and it's hard to do that, but I feel like we're able to find a very good balance. You know, after weeks of negotiating, I felt that everyone was negotiating in good faith. And again, to everyone that we were working with, I don't even think of it as the other side, but I feel like we were all trying to work together to find a new contract that would serve them and serve our school district. And I feel that we found that. So thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, that's coming up.
Okay.
No, there was a typo on the agenda. There's actually a difference in the start and stop date.
Oh, okay.
So Fatima, if you want to just make a notation.
So the contract is gonna run July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2028.
Okay. So July 1st, 2025 through June 1st, 2028. Okay. Okey doke.
Everything else is the same.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Not starting over.
No.
So I'm looking for a motion to approve the NSA SSP contract from July 1st, 2025 through June 1st, 2028, as presented by the bargaining committee.
June 30th.
June 30th. Okay,
Yep.
sorry.
So moved.
Okay, thank you.
So,
Is there- I'm sorry.
no, I didn't know, I was pointing to one of the committee members to make the motion. You know?
Yeah, so moved.
Okay.
I'll second.
Oh, thank you. All in favor, or do we have to have a roll call vote? We should. Okay.
So just as a reminder, we're gonna send it to the budget committee and the town council because they will be the ones that ratify, but you are just pushing it forward.
Now, do we have to vote on that specifically, sending it forward? or-
Yeah, I think you should change it to that, to send it forward to the budget, the town budget committee, and then to the town council for ratification.
Okay. Should we approve it first?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, why not? Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I think that's what that's what the charter amendment was, that they have the final sign.
right,
So, yeah, we approve it, but it goes up.
right.
That's
Okay, so I'm looking for a motion. I know you seconded it already, but I'm looking for a motion to approve the NSA SSP contract from July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2028, as presented by the bargaining committee.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor, sorry. Roll call vote.
Mrs. Mayo,
Yes,
Mr. Connell,
Yes.
Mr. De La Cruz,
Yes.
Mr. Simpkins.
Yes.
the motion passes. And again, thank you to everyone who made this happen in such a positive manner. And I'd like to thank Alicia for her cover letter that is going to the town council and the budget committee because it explained everything, all the highlights extremely well. So thank you very, very much. Job
like-
well done, everybody.
I'd like to second Alicia's letter. I thought that was very, yes, I second that. It was really good and informative. I feel very good about conveying that to the council and the budget committee.
Thank you. Okay, so now I would like to make a motion to send the contract to the town council and the budget committee for their ratification.
Second.
Um,
I'm sorry, do you want a second?
So moved.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Second.
Okay.
No, Crystal second, Crystal second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Congratulations, everybody. Very, very good. Yes, that's, I think so. Excellent. So next on our agenda is what I consider to be the most difficult part of our job here as school committee members. It's the non-renewal termination notices. Do we have to vote on this?
Sorry.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah. we do.
Okay.
but
Mm-hmm.
this is not as painful this time around as it has been in the past.
Okay.
Because during our last negotiations with the teacher union, one of the things that we have is a mechanism called a vacancy application form, which means tenured teachers can put out a list of positions that they are certified for that they would like to move to. So what happens during times when we have to cut and do layoffs? Positions open up, and there's the opportunity for tenured teachers to move into another position to fill a vacancy. Now, this vacancy application form usually came at the end of the year before the summer. So when we have to come to you with layoffs, we have to cast the net so wide to sort of try to figure out every possibility, permutation. If things go okay, if things go poorly, if we have to make deep cuts, if we have to make other changes. But long story short, it was a long story, we had agreed with the teacher union to close the vacancy application May 1st before this meeting. So what that meant is that we could see where a lot of the pieces were going to fall based on some layoffs and some movements and enrollments and such. So we didn't have to give a lot of people termination notices, including tenure teachers, to wait for the school committee to tell you we're going to have to terminate these people, and then wait for a vacancy application form so we can recall them. What it did was it just allowed us to work with the teacher union, with the positions, with the changes in enrollments, with movement, so that people didn't have their feet over the flames waiting for where the chips are going to fall and do I have a job or not. So we were able to accelerate the whole process. So what that means right now is that those who are sort of outlying there, we have 4 people. A lot of them already fell into positions based on tenure, based on interview, because they also interviewed. And so it just made people much more happy and comfortable. I'll give you an example. All right. Mike Economos, excellent teacher. Because of enrollment changes, he lost his position and he's the least senior teacher. However, because he gets a termination notice, which is horrible, absolutely terrible. But because we had the vacancy application, because we had form, because we had some movement, he is now back in kindergarten. He interviewed. He's absolutely, there's no question. He is a superstar kindergarten teacher. That's where he was, and that's where he had so much success. But because of the change in the system, he wasn't sitting out there with a termination notice until the end of the year, wondering if he had a job or not. So I just wanted to give you a little bit of background that this is a difficult time, but it's with working with the union, it has made it so much easier for our personnel. So.
And easier for the teachers too.
And
So,
for the yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. And we have voted on it.
We have not voted.
We
on
have
it.
not
We
voted.
still have to.
We
approve
did.
it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we have to approve them.
We approve the list.
The list, yes.
Okay. So I'm looking for a motion to accept the superintendent's list of non-renewal termination notices.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
I'm sorry. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The motion passes. And next on the agenda is the formal dissolution of the Nightlife Committee.
Yeah, well, Madam Chair, I asked it to be put on,
Okay.
just for very simply two reasons. It's been on the books for a long time, and we tried, the idea was to kind of do a social events and things, but it didn't really, the idea was good, it just didn't get going, and we tried a few times. But, technically it was never dissolved. And also I've been in touch with Alicia, and we may have, be able to use some of the money that was put aside from that a long time ago for something else. To kind of, it was like to do things like in the community. Now we've kind of done it through other avenues. So I just wanted to, because I was on the Northfield Light Night Committee, I'd like to formally dissolve it and then because it was created by a motion of the school committee. So dissolve it, and then also frees us up to perhaps pursue. We have a little bit of grant money, and we're looking into what we can do with that money to kind of achieve the same thing, like a community, things in the community is the idea. That was the idea, like the community chorus and some other ideas are floated. We're not locked into those ideas. We can do something else. So again, it's to get that off the table, eliminate the entity, and free up our ability to use that money towards something else.
Sounds like a good idea. Mhm.
Could I ask how much money was in that?
I'm right, I have to ask Lisa on that. 500?
Yeah, it's right under 5,000.
Okay.
So we could do something with it.
Yeah, oh, no,
Instead
no.
of it just sitting there,
I have some ideas, but again, I think it's better to eliminate the old, I'm sorry. My idea is I think better to eliminate the old committee because we had other members on it who I'd have to go back and look at who was on the committee. We'd have to reconstitute it
Right.
or eliminate it. So I say, let's start fresh, look at what we can do with that money. I do have some ideas of things like we can partner maybe with some of the other groups already doing things in town, but that's not our discussion tonight. I'm just saying that's why I asked to have it put on. I think it frees us up to pursue those other things. And I'll come back with some ideas maybe that we can put before the committee after working with Felicia and the discussions. There might be some strings of the money. That's the only problem. There might be a couple of strings of the money, but we're working on that. Finding out.
Excellent. All right, well, I am looking for a motion to dissolve the North Smithfield Nightlife Committee.
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Nope, the motion passes. Excellent. Anything else? Then it looks like we're ready to adjourn. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We're adjourned.